And we are live. How's it going, everybody? Thirsty Thursday. Cheers. This is Pentax talking live chat. So if you have any questions, leave them in the chat below. We're going to talk about the KF today. Make sure we got Kobe Snap right here. Got the audio going. Hello. And all right, I've got my notes today. So there's a lot of stuff to go through with this KF. Well, not a ton, but we're going to talk about it. So first off, if you saw my video, let me go ahead and show this bad boy off. This is with the 18 to 55. We already had some questions come in because I showed the unboxing and I used a different lens. I'll talk about that in here in a second. There it is. My fingerprint smudge and all. Bottom. There it is. All right. So I did an unboxing originally, probably 2 weeks ago, something like that. And I had ordered the white camera. Why did I order the white camera? Because I thought it was cool. It's limited to 700. If you don't know, the KF has the original just black body, and they had the white and blue models that were limited to 700 each worldwide. So I don't know how they spread those apart. I'm assuming that the majority of them went to Japan. And so you've got Europe as well, all of Asia, Australia, and then the U.S. So I didn't know how many of these were actually in the U.S. So when these came out, I ordered one pretty much off the bat when they came available. They're only available on the Ricoh store. So Ricoh store, instead the white one, was kind of upset because I ordered 2 lenses right beforehand to get that would match this camera. Because it's not about what the camera shoots, it's how it looks. I'm just kidding. But it looks cool, right? Look at that. Yeah, it looks cool. So they sent me the blue one, so I'm going to go over Ricoh's customer service. How good is it? A lot of companies, everybody says they're fantastic. They're fantastic. How do you tell when a company is good and when it's not? You could say a company is fantastic and they just, you order retail, you order stuff and they just send it out. When you find out if they're good or not is when a problem happens. How quick do they respond? Do they fix it? Are they working on it? And Ricoh kind of failed in this aspect because when I got the blue, I emailed them right off the bat. I got the blue version. I sent them my receipt, print screen of it, saying it says white here, and I got the blue version. And in the box, it actually had an invoice. For some reason, Ricoh is out of Georgia that sends it to me. I've ordered from Ricoh like tons of times. But the invoice that was in the box was from San Francisco. So I guess it went from San Francisco and then sent it to Georgia, and then they shipped it off to me. But in my video that I sent, somebody else said, "Hey, I ordered the blue and got the white instead." So there was a major mix-up, I found out after a week or two, that happened going on. But anyway, back to Ricoh's customer service. I emailed them, and it took them, and they actually responded pretty much immediately, like the same day, I guess. And they're like, "Hey, we'll send this out to the return service, and we'll get you a shipping label and all that good stuff." Because I originally told them that there wasn't a return label in the box. This is the wrong camera. So yeah, and I was like, "Oh, cool. They're going to take care of this really quick." And then second day, nothing. Then third day, I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I hadn't received a label, and um, at that point, I realized it's one of these companies that you have to ride them to actually do proper customer service. If you screw something up, you should be right, especially something that's like close to $1,000. You should be trying to fix it immediately, and that was not the case. Um, finally, third day or whatever, I was like, "Hey, it takes 1 minute to send me or create a shipping label to return this and get the proper camera back or whatever, so I could ship this back to you." I'm really, uh, I'm really concerned because these cameras are limited to 700, and I don't know how many you have in the U.S. compared to the worldwide. Since it is 700 worldwide, I'd really like this white camera, because I've already ordered a couple, these lenses. Um, and they apologized or whatever. The guy apologized. So I was actually, hey Stephen, how's it going? Uh, anyway, um, so, so the customer service really wasn't that great, and I just had to ride them every day, every day, every day. Send it back, and the guy, uh, the next day, that was kind of cool. Sent it back, and then they got it in the morning, and the next day they said, "Hey," the guy said, "Hey, we're gonna ship this out to you." I opened the box of the white camera that you ordered. I I turned it on just to make sure it worked and make sure it was the right color. And was like, why'd you have to? I mean, just make sure it's the right color. Why'd you have to open the box? And I was like, I kind of questioned that. I said, hey, is this a return from somebody else? Is it going to have a zero shutter count? I'm paying for a brand new camera, and he guaranteed me that it was new and all that stuff. But and then it came, and that was Friday morning, and he said they were shipping out ASAP or whatever, and it came around to Monday, Tuesday, something like that, and I'm like, I looked at my UPS, and it still hadn't shipped out, and um, account because he never did send me a tracking number, and actually, I don't think Rico has a customer service in Georgia because the the guy that I was responding to, and I did respond to the whole Rico website order thing a couple of times just so they would know that this guy was not handling it very well. Uh, and I did put in one of my emails back to him, I said, how would you rate Rico's customer service in this incident? And of course, he didn't answer that question because he knew it was bad. But anyway, I did finally get the camera after I had to ride him and ride him, ride him. He finally sent it out, and they did send it out when I finally was like, "Hey, man, this hadn't shipped out. What the hell's going on? You said this a while ago, and it still hadn't shipped." He did send it out 1 day, 1 day shipping, so that cost the company like $60 or something like that when it cost them $20. So I did get it, and I'm very happy with the camera. And here it is. The Sorry for that long rant on that, but the customer service, they need a revamp of that at Rico. Generally, if you just order something, I recommend it. It comes out quick, and I generally get something from Rico when I order it in like 2 days, so it's really quick. But just had a couple problems this time. But anyway, here it is. I'll show it again real quick. KF, look at that, and there is a difference in this. Can anybody spot it? Does anybody have K-70 here and can spot? Oh no. Stephen R. said, did I deal with the supervisor? Actually, to go back to the customer service. So what I did is I said, hey, can you escalate this to management? Is what I said. And he said, we have a meeting in a couple of hours, and management is working on this. So this was a big fiasco. And at the very end of it, I found out it was a website issue. I guess they had a SKU wrong with the white and the blue one, and it so basically Anybody that ordered a blue got a white one. Anybody that ordered a white one got a blue one is basically what happened. I'm curious on the other person that responded to my video of the unboxing with the fail, how theirs got worked out, if they actually got it back really quick. But there is a difference here going back from this and the K-70. Where's the K-70? It's right here. All right. Well, this one had my K-70 has the famous 20 to 40 on it. All right. You see there? No difference there, right? No difference there. Oh, I'm going to drop one of these, right? Let's see. Boom, boom. Nothing there. And where the difference is, it's not a huge difference, but I did notice when I did go out shooting today with it, and this is the second day I've had it, so there it is. The screen's different. Check that out. This one has the thing around it, frame around it, basically, and this one's clear. And supposedly these way different. Let me take the lenses off and expose the sensors to the elements so I can get a bunch of dust in there. That's what everybody always says, but I'll talk about that in a minute as well. Or get dust all over the mirror. All right. Let's see. Supposedly the KF weighs less because there's some internal parts in here that they don't have anymore. So I'm assuming they're more advanced. Maybe these were outdated since this is an older camera. And holding it, I mean, it's just a couple of grams is what it said online. I do think it weighs a little bit less. I didn't notice it when I was out shooting today. I used the, go ahead and slap that on there real quick. I did use this 55 to 300 PLM and it worked fabulous. I'm going to show image samples. I'll show those in another video, but there was a kingfisher like terrorizing me. It's like, you can't get a picture of me. And this was like, or whatever that noise that the kingfishers make. But I had this out and it performed just as well as K-70, as you would assume. These are really, really, really similar cameras. But this is what it looks like with a 55 to 300 PLM on there. I do love this white, man. This looks really, really nice. And I did do that video with the custom image the other day. So I was using my custom image that I made personally, and I do need to adjust that slightly. I hadn't put the images on the computer, but just looking on the back screen of this, I did think I need to adjust it, but I need to look at it on the screen right here. So let's go back to the screen here and on how it's different. And actually, I'll just turn them on and show you. There is actually not really a difference here. Let me show you. Even though the frame is gone on the K-70 or KF, look, I think I have a picture on here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh gosh, come on now. Well, you can't. I mean, it covers this whole screen right here. A little bright there, but then here on the KF, the screen is a lot bigger since it doesn't have that frame on there, and it does have more dots in it, but as you can see here, it is basically what the frame was on here. So that frame just covers up the space. You see it's a little bigger there on the left-hand side. So all that screen did was cover that up. Now, as far as the screen's concerned, this one, it feels a lot kind of not as stout or strengthy. Maybe it's because that extra frame on there is the K-70. But if you hold them like side by side, they're the same millimeters here. It looks like it's just they took off that thing, so it makes it slightly slightly lighter, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure what parts they removed on the innards. That's just a rumor that I've heard. And yeah, so that's it about the screen. As far as the outside of the camera, it's almost identical. And also on the menu, you're not going to be able to see this on this webcam, but the menu system is exactly the same. The only difference between the KF and the K-70 on there is on the custom image. You'll get that those seasonal custom images that they released. And I have not upgraded the KF before you ask. A lot of times on the firmware, according to the press release or whatever, there is you'll add the winter custom image there on the camera. And I did have a question about this. If anybody has a K3 or a K1 and has all these custom images on it with the seasonal stuff, it says that you have to have certain lenses for that to work. And I use this lens right here, just a kit lens from the KS2, and custom image worked. The seasonal custom image, I think I had the fall one on there. I can't remember the name of it, but it worked and didn't give me an error or anything like that. And there was a definite image difference between the two when I didn't use it, when I just went from like whatever it's called, natural, and then I used that Sudoku or whatever it's called, and it was totally different. So I think them saying it only works on certain lenses. I think it might. Correct me if I'm wrong. Satobi, that's it. I think that just might be a marketing ploy for you to buy the HD lenses, because I have plenty of those lenses that claim to work with that, but they're the SMC, the super multi coated. They're not HD ones, so I don't know. It did actually do a change, and it allowed me to use that without doing anything. Yeah, the KF has the Astro function just like the K-70, but you have to have that little extra module with it. It's got all the same stuff as the K-70 completely. Menu system is exactly alike. I even did, I don't know if you can see this, but this is something cool. And I'll talk about why I bought the KF, even though everybody said it's the exact same camera in a second. But the little your quick menu, I set them up exactly the same on each camera. That's kind of cool. I was like, oh man, it just feels like home, because K-70 is like my favorite camera, and I was able to set it up exactly the same. I'll have to do more. Like I said, this is my second day having the KF, so this is kind of just you know, like my first impressions of it. Taking it out today. Does it focus more quickly? I'll have to try that out and try to figure that out. Let's see. I missed a few here. Yeah, the screen is larger, but there's more dots on the KF. But it is I can't really tell a difference as far as resolution. But the screen is larger. It just doesn't have that little frame around it. If you saw that earlier. Yeah, I'll be sharing some of those Adobe pictures later. I plan to go camping and do a larger video and really going through basically a review, basically be a review of both. And I would subtly, whenever there's anything that might be different between the two cameras, I would, but they're so close to the same camera. It's going to be a K-70 KF. Since I've owned the K-70 for so many years, it's just taking it out today. It's a delight to use because I already know it, you know. So I was really trying to find something there that was might be very different. And like I said, I have not done the firmware update, and that's one big thing I need to talk about is the firmware, um, and that is might be a reason you might want to get the KF if you really like a K70. Uh, do I think it's just on first impressions? Do I think it's an upgrade, huge upgrade? Absolutely not. But they're not going to do any more firmware on the K70. They might do some firmware. I mean, they are doing firmware because they're adding those seasonal things. But like say in the spring when they add an additional custom image, that is going to be a firmware update. And at that point, say the KF is not selling that well, they might add an extra feature in there. This is my what you call a swag, a scientific wild ass guess. That is my guess there. That the KF is not really going to sell that much because since it's so similar to the K70, that they're going to have to maybe add something in there uh, to make it maybe sell a little bit better. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let me look at my notes real quick. Cheers. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Get a pen here. Went over the Ricoh customer service. I give them like a C minus on their customer service. They really need to do something better. Like I said, the guy that I was going back and forth with, he didn't have so I don't even know if they have an actual customer service because it's Ricoh Pentax really doesn't sell too many cameras, so it might just be you have this. You're in this department, but you're also part of customer service in a small amount of way. Let's see here. All right, went over the screen, went over the firmware, went over. So the three main differences between the K70 and you've probably read this if you're looking at these two cameras. The KF is the screen. There's more dots on it, and the charge. It comes with a new charger. Make sure the charger's off though. I'm going to show you what I use. I mean, it's just a charger, but all right. This is the charger for the K70. It comes with it that I never use. I've got like, and that's the same one that was with the K30, K50, and KS2. It's like that, just a regular. I hate that charger. So they upgraded, and it's like this, and all you need is a USB-C to USB, and you can plug it in anywhere you have a USB thing. So that's cool that they did that, but that's not what I use. I always use these ones that just plug straight in the wall. These third party. This one has a little LCD screen that tells you how long it is to charge or whatever. But this is the one I like to use a lot when I go on. I'm going to be like at the beach or something. It charges 2, and it has 2. It also tells you how much charge is left in there. Excuse me. And it's like $11 for this, and the other one's like this one's like $7. So I recommend buying these. I generally use Pentax batteries, but occasionally, and I've been known to use this brand K-Star. See that? I've used their batteries in multiple different cameras, and it's okay. Yeah, it's K-Star, K-A-S-T-A-R. K-Star. And they're on eBay, so just check them out on eBay. Their individual page, I think they might have one. It's not any cheaper than eBay, so just get them off eBay, and it comes super quick to you as well. They have free shipping on all their chargers and all their batteries. I buy those for all my eBay stuff. If I get a point and shoot in that doesn't have a battery, I'll buy it from them. So I've given them, God, thousands of dollars of business. But so yeah, screen firmware changes, and yeah, you don't know what's going to come up in this firmware. There might be something along the way, and then the charger is different. So the menu system, when I look through it, is completely the same. There's nothing I've found that is different at all, which is kind of nice for me because I know it right off the bat. So, and let me talk about another cool reason to have this. So originally wasn't gonna. I was wait. The K-70 is my favorite camera of all times. I should say that. Um, I've used the K3 and the K1 and all that. It's just me. That's just what I like. And I've used multiple other systems. It's just my favorite camera of all time. So I was waiting for the K-70 to discontinue it. They haven't. I've heard people say they discontinued it. They have not discontinued it. You can still buy it on Ricoh's site. Um, Typically, when they discontinue one of their cameras, like the K30, K50, KS2, they mark it down to like $300. I think this is the K70 is just under $600 right now, and the limited version of just the body alone is $900 US. So I was just going to buy another one of these and have it sit on the shelf and say, because cameras nowadays they don't really get that much better. There's not like a ton that's going to get a lot better. So I was just like, I had a Sony A390 from 2010. I took out the other day, and I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with this camera. This camera takes excellent pictures. There's not, I mean, if I put this against something like this, as long as it wasn't low light, the image quality, I don't think you'd be able to tell difference. It's just the low light performance has gotten better, and that's the main thing. As far as my use, I'm not like doing a lot of action, so I'm not like doing lots of frames per second. And my autofocus point is usually in the middle, and I just adjust accordingly. So autofocus points have gotten a lot, that's a new battle, is autofocus points versus, back in the day it was who could have the most megapixels, now it's the autofocus points. We have 172 autofocus points versus blah 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 only has 50 or something like that. But okay, sorry, let me get back to this swag. You love that. Okay, yeah, should make a t-shirt with that on there. Why I love the K-70 so much. You have the KP, and you prefer, as I am, you prefer the K-70. Well, I've talked about this before. That I had the KP as well, and I bought it when it was discounted because I like the K-70 so much. When the KP came out, it was $1,200, and I didn't hear too many complaints about that when it came out. Was it 1,200 or 1,300? Because then the K3 came out and was what, two grand. So I mean, stuff is getting up there in price. The thing about Pentax is they were always been the cost had always been low, and the more features in there. So when Ricoh took them over, it's gotten a little bit worse. They're not making those lower price cameras. I kind of skipped over it because the features on the KP weren't that much better, and I actually bought it when it was discontinued. And I think instead of like I said, some of these other ones they marked down to 300, but since the KP was so expensive, I think I bought it for $650. Kept it for like 2 or 3 months, and I sold it actually for as much as I bought it for or more. I didn't like the way it fit my hands. I didn't like. You would think I would like the smaller form factor, but I didn't. Didn't like that it didn't have a full flippy screen. It did shoot more frames per second. It just wasn't very comfortable at all in my hands. I'm just used to these fantastic. It felt more like a mirrorless camera in my hands, which I hate. So I just like these cameras. And yes, there are three different grips that you could go through, and I tried the largest and the other ones, and there's supposedly another one that you can order that's a little bit bigger, but the image quality with the K70 and the KP, a lot of people argue with me about this. It's the same. The ISO quality of the KP is a little bit better, but it's in this god awful huge ISO that nobody would ever use. So it's just like, that's just why I went with the K70. Anyway, sorry. What? Let's see here. Oh, aperture block or lock or whatever you want to call it. I'm wondering about that. I don't really want to go into that too much, but there are different internal parts in that, and a lot of people had questions about that. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Aperture block, I've never had an issue. I've had the K30, K50, KS2, what else? The K70, never had an issue. I use my camera all the time though, so that might be. I think that's part of it. I did buy one used, a K30 or K50, and it did have aperture block on it. It had like 30,000 shutter count or something like that. But I don't think, if you use your camera all the time, I don't think you'll have an issue with it. But this does have different internal parts on it. I'll just say that. So they might have put a different board in here or whatever. And I didn't say this before, but I said the screen was different. So I'm wondering if this screen is actually, has more dots, newer technology. So I'm wondering if it will pull less energy if you shoot in, like, say, live view a lot of times. So I'm wondering if it will pull less power from the battery, and you get. I'm not sure if this is the case. I hadn't looked up how many shots you're supposed to get out of the battery, but I'm curious on that. I'm totally fine with the battery. It uses the same battery as the K70, if I didn't mention that before, and the K50, K30, KS2, exact same battery. So you might, if that is the case, you might be able to get some more shots out of it. But I don't have an issue because I have that double charger, and I have a ton of batteries anyway. But I could go out and shoot several hundred pictures, and the battery does not deplete enough. And speaking of, I didn't go through the movie settings in this, so I didn't even check those. 'Cause I know it doesn't have 4K, but I'll check those out when I do a full review of these two side by side, and we'll check that out. Yeah, and a lot of people were curious was why this is called the KF instead of the K90. I don't know. Have I ever dropped my K70 as a time user? No, I have not. I thought I lost it for like 3 days. I'm like, where the hell is that thing? It was on my back deck where I was shooting some birds or something. I think I did a video about it, and I thought I left it. I thought I was fishing. I left it on the dock and just walked off with it, and I was like, and that is why you should have insurance on all your cameras. And I'll go into something else here about insurance here in a second. I need to redo all my insurance because I did it like a year ago, and I've completely changed out my equipment. I was like, I am not changing any of my equipment. This is my setup. I'm staying with it. I'm going to go ahead and get insurance, and that's why I was reluctant about getting insurance, because I knew I'd change out everything. And of course, I changed out everything and went back to the K70 from the K3, and yeah. Oh, I did have somebody ask on my eBay store and talking about insurance, this is another reason. Somebody reached out to me on eBay. They were wanting to buy one of my lenses here. eBay store is in the link before. I have about 500 products on there right now. This is a point array that he was asking about. And speaking of insurance, he was asking, he was wanting to buy this. I'm not sure if it was for a gift because it was in the box or whatever. I would not recommend a quant array, by the way, but I'll go over that in a second. You know, it has a pin there, and he said, am I going to have to remove this Rico pin? I said, no. I put these on all my cameras, test them out first. So, you know, I've sold, so it fits on there fine. It comes off fine. Don't ever force it. I just slowly, if I'm not sure, slowly put it on there. But I've never had one stuck on there. I think it's almost a rumor, but every time I say it's a rumor, somebody's like, oh, I got one stuck on my camera. But I literally, this year I've sold almost 2,000 photography items, and a lot of which are Pentax items. And I test them all out on my K-70. That's why there's so much dust on my sensor. But no, never had that issue. But if I did, I'll have it insured, so it's fine. I get it fixed for free. There's, if like I said, State Farm, I did, was it like $100? It was $140, $150 a year for basically $10,000 of photography equipment. There was no deductible. If you drop it or it gets stolen, you lose it, it's all covered. So, I mean, if you have a large amount of photography equipment like that, totally recommend doing that. So now I'm like, there's too many lenses in front of me. Okay. Pentax quality. That's right. Good gosh. Okay. I said I was going to talk about this quant array. I can't remember who asked me on eBay about this lens, but quant array lenses I do not recommend. And there's some odd ones in there that might be all right. And I'll show an odd one of this here in a second. But quant array is just, it's not a very good brand. Somewhere in there, I think it was involved with Sigma. I'm not sure where, but a lot of these lenses kind of look similar. And if you were looking at this is not an autofocus lens. I put manual focus in the title. And if you ever want to reach out to me on eBay, you're looking at a lens just for Pentax, I will go take an image sample if you want. I usually don't do that, but for Pentax, I will, just because I love them so much. Other crappy bands for that I would not recommend getting. I just got this in a big lot, so I'm selling it. I wouldn't search this out individually. Quant array, I would not. Well, I'll show you one that here might be okay, but quant array focal. I don't know if you can see that, was sold by Kmart. And I've actually got a couple of focals that were really good, but majority of them are just not very good quality, and they're probably subcontracted to probably use a different name brand. The other ones are, I mean, this is a Super 8 camera, but Hanimex and Hanimar, just stay away from those. God, the Hanimex are just horrible. The 135 f2.8, just the whole inner thing is just, it's horrible. And here's one that I said was different with this quant array, and I hadn't come across any of these for the Pentax system. This is for the Nikon system. It's a Tech 10, and if you don't know if you can see there, but it's 24 f2.8, so it's a prime lens, so obviously it's going to be a little bit better. And these lenses do not, if you find one with a Canon EF mount, it will not work on the modern day DSLRs for Canon. It will only work on the film cameras. But this one seems really good. I messed around with it a little bit, and it does. So there's exceptions to every rule, but anyway, it's a prime lens. So All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, another reason I bought the KF is just because I'm trying to support Pentax. I knew it was like a K-70, basically, a little bit slight upgrade, but like I said, that firmware may produce some other stuff going on. But I am a supporter of Pentax, so I want them to keep on making cameras. So I was going to buy a K-70 when it got discontinued at $300 or whatever. And I was like, hey, I really like this white edition. It's limited. It looks really cool. And that's why I bought it. So if you're wondering about that, that's why I did that. And if you notice, I have a little hashtag that I use sometimes at the bottom of my videos. It says hashtag Pentax for life. I kind of borrowed that from I'm here close to Knoxville for the UT Vols. They have Vol for life is kind of their little slogan. So I was like, Pentax for life, man. That just sounds really cool. And you know, all these other mirrorless stuff is coming out, and just this K-70 and plenty of the other Pentax cameras are just, I just love them all. I mean, they're all great. Just the K-70 is my favorite, even though it's not, you know, not as good as the K1 or the K3 or 3 or any of that. But I just love them all. Let's see here. Did that. Did that. Yeah, I talked about that. I'm going to have some upcoming videos. Like I said, I'm going to do a better K-70 / KF review where I really go through the camera a little bit more. It might be a longer video, like 15 minutes or so, but I try to keep my videos short, but that one might be a little bit longer. If there's anything you want me to make a video on, go ahead and share that with me in the comments or this chat, and I'll try to get to it. And if I don't, go ahead and scold me for it, and I'll try to get to it. Videos coming up. Should I talk about that? I already did the. All right, videos coming up. I'm going to do the review, as I said, but I'm also going to do coming up. I kind of do this every year, like coming up here in the new year, my New Year's resolutions, and what is your New Year's resolutions. We'll go through that. That might be a live. That might be a cool live. I think my wife has to work on New Year's Eve, but I think she only has to work to 7:30. So maybe I'll do an early one on that one, like 6 o'clock. Yeah, and I'm going to do a video on why buy a Pentax, and I think that's one I'm looking really forward to, and I'm really breaking it down on why you should buy a Pentax here in 2023 coming up. I'm going to do one of those what's in my bag. If you've seen my videos, I've been buying all this stuff, selling all this stuff, going back and forth. So I'm actually going to show you what lenses I have, and I'm going to break it down why I have the lenses. And I'm pretty confident, as I was confident last year, that I was going to keep everything. But I'm pretty confident, extremely confident. Also, I wanted to bring this up on a Pentax meetup before the pandemic and all that. Right before it, I scheduled a meetup in the Great Smoky Mountains, and yeah, you know, the pandemic happened, so I had to cancel all that, and all the parks were closed down. So I don't know. Going forward in 2023, maybe in the spring or summer, I might try to schedule that again. If you are close to the Smoky Mountains or thinking about visiting the Smoky Mountains, I might schedule that up in the spring or summer. It should be really nice. And actually, speaking of that, the Kate's Cove is where I camp a lot. The bear population is kind of booming. We only have black bears there, but it's kind of booming. And just real quick about this, the TWRA, that's the state rangers or whatever. I know it's a national park, but they were talking about the populations of bears in Tennessee. So you only have black bear right now in the Smoky Mountains. If you go further west, there's no bear. And he said years ago the whole state was covered with black bear. And so they just got hunted, and then they just went up into the mountains. So that's why they're mainly up in the mountains. But the population is getting so big, they're starting to come back down in some of the cities. Like it was probably what 8 years ago or whatever. When I worked in Knoxville, there was a bear that came on the property at night on a golf course or whatever. So they're coming back down. So it's like I went up to the Smokies probably 3 weeks ago, and at this time of year, you usually don't see any. I saw three or something like that, 3 or 4. I didn't get any pictures because they were way too far away. But I need that 600 millimeter Kobe. Yeah, and it was also interesting when I went shooting at the same place I do. I don't know if you've seen with the boardwalk and the bridge and all that stuff. That's where I went today with the KF. But last week or the week before, oh yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. I went out there and I had to call the wildlife because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I went out there, dead bird or dead vulture, just lying in the water, and I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, there was 3 or 4, and then I got down to a spot and there was 20 dead vultures there, and I'm like, so I pulled out my phone and I was like, vulture disease? Are they just falling dead, or is there somebody coming out here with a pellet gun shooting them or something? And the Google said vultures don't spread disease. Their stomach acid is so strong it kills off anthrax and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, what the hell is killing these things or whatever? And I was like, okay, I went back to my truck. I was like, okay, I'm just going to call the wildlife and ask them. And I called them and they knew right off the bat. I was like, hey, I'm here, East Tennessee, and I just wanted to report this. I don't know if it's disease or whatnot, but there's all these vultures that are dead. There's over 20 out here, and right off the bat, even the receptionist even stopped me. She said, "Yeah, it's avian bird flu. It's really bad in vultures right now." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I googled avian or whatever it was, flu, and yeah, it just said that they're killing those off. But interesting, when I was looking that up, that it said that vultures are protected. I didn't know if you could kill them because they're or whatnot. It said vultures are protected since 1918 because they're a migratory bird under the U.S. Act or something like that. It was interesting to see because out there, when I went out there today, there's typically over 100 vultures out there, and I think I counted 6 alive, and there was a lot dead. And this disease is not spread among humans. They can't get it. There's been 1 or 2 cases, like extremely rare, and it is airborne, is what they said, and it just kills them. And when I saw the 20 laying down there, there was 2 vultures sitting there, and they just kind of looked sick, and I was like, oh, God, they're next. I mean, a lot of people hate vultures, but it was kind of sad for me to see. I kind of like vultures. I don't know. I mean, they're tearing apart dead roadkill, but I don't know, something about them I kind of like. Anyway, I sorry to get about that off on that tangent there. Oh, the video. What's on my pool table right now? It's kind of small. Oh, I didn't even get to this. Here's some cool stuff I got in. I could do that. That was on my list. I didn't even get to it. Check out this awesome camera. I just got it in the mail today. And maybe you could tell me what's wrong with it. And this camera's cool as hell. Look at that. What? Anybody know what it is? I gotta cover up yeah. Look at that. Silver and brown. It looked orange. The grip looked orange online. Not cool. I put this Pentax 28-90 on it. Of course, it's another KR, but I hadn't seen this color. This really cool. I had to pick this up just I was just picking it up to resell it. I'm not going to make any money off of it. I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, the black and white KR, just like the KF there. But this one's kind of weird. It works, but listen to this. Let me wait. Hold on. Can you hear that? So I don't know what that is. I turned off shake reduction. I turned off basically everything, but I mean, it works. I tested it out and it works fine, but something is rattling around in there. It's like almost like the sensor is a little bit loose on the shake reduction. I don't know. I may send it back. I don't know. But the reason I bought it is because it was a cool color. I just thought it might sell good. I just buy Pentax stuff occasionally, even though I know I'm not going to make money off it, just because I want to try it out, and I'll basically sell it for a few dollars more, and the eBay fees like take care of it or whatever. But let's see here. So it came with these lenses, and these are Chiquina AF lenses. So they kind of match the camera. That silver's pretty cool. 28 to 80. And I may have tried these out years and years ago on a different mount system, but typically Chiquina. I can't remember. If anybody knows, you could like write a comment or whatever. But their naming system, I'll have to Google it again. But they got the AXT or something like that. They've got a grading system of which ones are better. And I think these are just the glasses. I think these are just the lower line. So let's see. Yeah, it doesn't have ATX or anything like that. ATX, that's like a motherboard. I think that's what it is, though. All right. Anyway, I'm going to try these out, and just because I want to try them out, and I'll probably sell them just for very, very low line. Pro line is higher end model. Yeah, but I can't remember which one it is. All right, a couple other things. These aren't Pentax related, but I'm just going to show you off a style. Got to get style on. Maybe I'll put this on one of my cameras. Corduroy strap. How cool is that? You'd really be styling if you weren't that. That came with a big lot of stuff. I thought laughed when I took it out of the box. And then this other strap is pretty funny too. I mean, it's not funny, but it's just, I mean, it's like almost like a pirate or a biker or something. Leather strap. I mean, it's like really, I put on my glasses and tried to check those out, but I couldn't really see what they said or anything. But anyway, that was another strap. All right. I'm going to test you right here. Who first can tell me what camera this is? This came in a box of cameras, and I was like, what is that? Yeah, it looks like a pirate holster strap. Doesn't that look like a camera? It is not at all. I'm like, what is this? Let me show you. So you turn it here, and what does it say? Can you read that right there? Anyway, what does it say? I forgot. Oh, it says shower. So this is like a water filter that you put on. Like, look, it's not a shutter button. If you look closely, there's a screen in there, and then on the back side, there's. I just laughed at it because this was in with a big lot of cameras. That was hilarious to me. So I might keep this. Try it out. I thought that was funny. I think that's how long we've been on. Oh God, we've almost been on an hour. I'm getting a little carried away here. All right. Any last questions or anything? I think I covered most of what I wanted to cover, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And I'll be having more KF videos here. soon. I plan on going camping and doing a bigger video about this. And I think I did say that this one that I showed in the unboxing, this is off of KS2, this 18 to 50 millimeter, and I will be doing a review between the two. They discontinued this like soon after it was made, but anyway, that's that. So I'll be doing that soon. All right. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I don't do these that often, but I will be doing one probably in the new year or maybe New Year's Eve. So thanks everybody for watching. Have a great night and cheers.